If you were to assemble a best 11 made up solely of current club captains, I hear you ask, what would that 11 look like? Well, it is a fine question, and it's one that subscriber Michael A has been requesting on a daily basis for the past month, receiving hundreds of likes on more than one occasion, so I figured there must be a fair bit of interest in this subject among the wider HITC Sevens community. To be clear, the request from Michael was club captains, and that is what I've gone with. So, there'll be no national team captains, who often tend to be a country's best player, such as Harry Kane, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, or Robert Lewandowski. Partly because that was the request, but also because I do think it's much more interesting to restrict it solely to clubs. It means there's a concentration of talent in certain positions, such as in goal and at centre-back, and a scarcity of star power in some other positions, which makes my life much more difficult, which, is a good thing. Who wants an easy life? The 11 is based upon the player's playing ability and not their leadership skills. So, without further ado, here is my best 11 made up solely of club captains. Goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer. I said that there was a concentration of talent between the sticks, and I wasn't kidding. In fact, the strength in depth among goalkeeping captains is so extreme that the likes of Hugo Lloris and Kasper Schmeichel don't even make my 7-man bench. Despite the competition though, my starting goalie was never in too much doubt. Manuel Neuer was first appointed as a club captain way back in 2010, aged only 24, ahead of his final season with Schalke. But he didn't get the armband at Bayern Munich until Philipp Lahm hung up his boots in 2017. Neuer now captains both Bayern Munich and the German national team, and he has lifted 13 trophies in 4 seasons as club captain in Bavaria. Now aged 35, Neuer remains, at the very least, one of the 3 best goalkeepers in world football, and arguably still the best of the lot. So he waltzes straight into our starting 11, giving us a fantastic base to build upon. Right back, Cesar Azpilicueta. In terms of the back 4, I found right back the toughest spot of all, particularly between 2 contrasting Spaniards with very different styles of play. I won't mention the other one just yet to build some suspense ahead of my 7-man bench, but as you can see, in the end, I went with Cesar Azpilicueta, partly due to the balance of the team, and partly because he is so astute defensively. One of Chelsea's finest signings of the Abramovich era, and there is no lack of competition in that regard, Azpilicueta joined the Blues from Marseille for just £7 million in 2012. He has now played more games for the club than Branislav Ivanovic and Didier Drogba. He has been captain since 2019, and he has lifted UEFA's 2 most prestigious trophies in that role. Capable of playing at centre-back or at right-back, Azpilicueta has first-class positional instincts and a brilliant eye for danger. And given the plethora of quality captains available to me at centre-back, it makes more sense to start him on the right. Centre-back, Marquinhos. I have long held what I consider to be a not very contentious view that the talents of players playing in Ligue 1 tend to be downplayed by those who don't pay much attention to the top flight of French football, and Marquinhos is a fine example of that. If the Brazilian were playing in the Premier League, La Liga, or even Serie A, I have little doubt that he would be almost unanimously considered to be one of the finest centre-backs in the world. But starring for PSG, where the global spotlight arrives only really for the Champions League nights, it's only when he puts in a top-class performance against elite-level European opposition that people sit up and take note of just what a brilliant defender he has become. Aged 27, Marquinhos took on the captain's armband at PSG following Thiago Silva's departure in 2020, and he now captains a club who employ Lionel Messi and Sergio Ramos. The competition was strong, but Marquinhos was the first centre-back to make my starting 11. Centre-back, Giorgio Chiellini. Selecting Marquinhos' centre-back partner was a bit of a trickier task, though only because Giorgio Chiellini is 37 years old now. The athleticism of Marquinhos allowed me the freedom to still select the Italian though, in what looks to me like a really solid partnership. Although Chiellini is as old as time and has long exhibited outstanding leadership credentials, he has only actually captained Juventus and the Italian national team since 2018, due to the presence of Gianluigi Buffon alongside him at club and international level up to that point. An aggressive centre-back with a nose that has seen more battles than Napoleon, Chiellini defends on the front foot, often snuffing out attacks before they have a chance to build up any kind of momentum. And we'll come to some of the excellent centre-backs that he kept out of this 11 in just a moment's time. Left back, Jose Gaya. Real Madrid legend Marcelo currently captains the Spanish Giants following the departure of Sergio Ramos, and it would be remiss of me not to mention him. Undoubtedly one of the finest fullbacks of his generation, Marcelo was, for a number of years, the best left-back on the planet. But that doesn't alter the fact that it has all got a bit pear-shaped for the Brazilian over the last few seasons. It's another La Liga left-back, namely Jose Gaya, who quite comfortably takes this one, as one of the finest left-backs in the world. Valencia are a poorly run basket case of a club at this moment in time, and given their repeated fire sales, it is a bit of a miracle that Gaya hasn't departed. Contracted to the club since the age of 11, Gaya inherited the captain's armband at the club following Dani Parejo's departure in 2020, and it is difficult to overstate his importance to Valencia. A quick, clever, diminutive and gifted fullback, Gaya has won 16 caps for Spain, he has a wonderful left foot, and I think you could count on a single hand the number of better left-backs than him in all of world football. Defensive midfield, Sergio Busquets. Holding midfield was a really tough shout, but a little bit like Jose Gaya, whilst everything around him crumbles, Sergio Busquets stays calm and remains routinely excellent for FC Barcelona. I often think that the sign of a good ball-playing midfielder is one who rarely seems rushed or panicked in possession of the ball, and Busquets typifies that. His link-up play might not be as decisive as it was when he had the likes of Xavi, Iniesta and Dani Alves alongside him, but he is still able to paint a complete picture and pick out the right passes with frightening efficiency. I thought he was one of the best players at Euro 2020, winning 2 Man of the Match awards, and I thought that it ought to have been at least 3. Aged 33, Busquets replaced Lionel Messi as Barca's captain over the summer, and whilst he's unlikely to win too many trophies in that role, individually, I still think he's outstanding. Central midfield, Lorenzo Pellegrini. Ruled out of Italy's Euro 2020 squad through injury, the fact that Roberto Mancini's side still managed to win the tournament is testament to their strength and depth, particularly in central midfield. The youngest player in this 11, Lorenzo Pellegrini, is an outstanding footballer who became Roma's new captain over the summer just gone at the age of only 25, following in the footsteps of former Rome-born Roma captains such as Francesco Totti and Daniele De Rossi. Capable of playing as either an 8 or as a 10, Pellegrini is an energetic and elegant midfield operator, equally capable of putting in a tireless shift in a box-to-box role or consistently running in behind and linking up play when deputised a little bit further forward. He has been integral to Roma's impressive start to this season under Jose Mourinho, particularly in that more advanced role that I just mentioned, chipping in with 4 goal contributions from only 5 Serie A outings at the time of this recording. Right wing, Marco Reus. The top end of the pitch undoubtedly provided the sternest selection dilemmas in this 11, partly because most talented club captaining forwards seem to play on the left flank these days. That isn't the case with Marco Reus, though I have still been forced to start him somewhat out of position. Reus is primarily a number 10 these days, and he has been for some time, though he is renowned for his versatility and has previously played out wide on both flanks, and he did so with distinction, as well as operating as the most advanced player in a central role at times. Incredibly loyal to Borussia Dortmund, though perhaps always prevented from attracting a really blockbuster bid due to his persistent injury problems in his peak, whilst Dortmund's star men have routinely peeled away, Reus has stuck around. He has been club captain at the Westfalenstadion since 2018, and of all the talented forwards available to me, I think he is the one best suited to playing out wide on the right. Attacking midfield, Lorenzo Insigne. Another man who is playing slightly out of position in this 11, though only just. I think it's worth noting that this will be a fairly fluid forward line, as will become even more apparent with the man up next, allowing Lorenzo Insigne to drift out wide onto the left and to make darting runs through the middle, which are really his 2 preferred roles for Napoli. Serie A is certainly well represented in this 11, and Insigne is one of the division's star men. The pocket-sized wide man was born in Naples, and he already ranks 5th in both the club's all-time appearance charts and their all-time scoring charts, having spent the last 8 years working in tandem with the even more prolific Dries Mertens. Left wing, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I said this was a fluid forward line, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang's tendency to drift into central areas would no doubt give Lorenzo Insigne plenty of license to drift out wide into that left-hand channel. Sometimes I have to remind myself that this 11 is never actually going to play a game together and that this is just a YouTube video that I've made. So I'm probably overthinking things too much. That's a shame though, because what an exciting front four with one man still to come that we have in the making. Aubameyang has blown hot and cold over the last 18 months, but following his hat-trick against West Brom, winner against Norwich, and sensational all-round performance in the North London derby, there are suggestions that the Gabonese great might be finding his rhythm once again. At his best, he is among the most devastating players in the Premier League, if not beyond. So the Gunners' skipper makes my starting 11 in his preferred position no less. Centre forward, Ciro Immobile. Sometimes when I make one of these ridiculous fancy 11s purely out of idle curiosity and for your viewing pleasure, I feel a sense of deep satisfaction. As though the 11 just seems to sit right, there is great balance to the team, and I feel as though I've got it just right. This is not one of those occasions, and I'll address potential alterations in a few seconds, but one thing you cannot deny is the fact that this team has plenty of goals in it. Ciro Immobile adds the finishing touches to our 11, and it is the finishing touches to Lazio's attacks that he so often provides within the Italian game. Something of a flop in his 2 attempts to succeed outside of Italy with Borussia Dortmund and Sevilla, Immobile has been lethal in Rome since 2016, scoring 156 goals in 226 games. Almost like an old-school poacher with a brilliant nose for sniffing out chances, Immobile has made a flying start to the current campaign, which is his first as the club's captain. Right, so that is my starting 11, but as I said, I'm not wholly satisfied with it, and you'll soon discover why that is the case, given some of the players who missed out. I'll start with my 7-man bench, which is made up of Inter Milan captain Samir Handanovic as our number 2, Manchester United captain Harry Maguire covering at centre-back, Sevilla captain Jesus Navas as backup at fullback, his former Manchester City teammate and current Citizens captain Fernandinho in holding midfield, Atletico Madrid captain Koke offering a strong alternative to Lorenzo Pellegrini, Ajax captain Dusan Tadic, who has been in remarkable form ever since his move to Amsterdam, and finally yet another Italian and Serie A star in the form of Torino captain and talisman Andrea Belotti, rivaling his compatriot Ciro Immobile for a starting berth just as he does with the Italian national team. Extremely honourable mentions go to the likes of Jordan Henderson, who I'm a huge fan of and feel slightly ashamed not to have found a place for, Hugo Lloris, Seamus Coleman, Lewis Dunk, Tyrone Mings, Alessandro Romagnoli, Pepe, Leo Dubois, Kasper Schmeichel, Lucas Raditsky, James Ward-Prowse, Christian Gunter, Moussa Niakate, Marcelo, Dante, Rafael Toloi, Asaya Iaramendi, Ike Muniain, Mario Gaspar, Hugo Mayo, Andre Almeida, Cristiano Baraghi, and Carlos Vela, among many others. I think a solid case could be made for the team being a stronger, more balanced unit, with an ageing double pivot of Fernandinho and Sergio Busquets, sacrificing either Lorenzo Pellegrini or one of the front 4, and even for adding a more radical alteration like perhaps going with more of a 4-3-3 and starting Dusan Tadic as a sort of roaming number 10 in behind any 2 of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Ciro Immobile and Andrea Belotti. You can play around with it as you wish. I don't doubt some of you will be able to come up with better looking 11s. I think the lack of a really outstanding right winger or right-sided forward is the biggest hurdle, but as I said with my initial 11, I do think Marco Reus would do a very accomplished job there. Perhaps I have totally overlooked a club captain due to my enormous stupidity and shambolic research, which again, I would think is quite likely, so on all fronts, let me know in the comments. Thank you all very much as ever for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video, make sure that you are subscribed and have notifications turned on for HITC Sevens, And you can also find me on social media, on either Twitter or Instagram via the username at HITC Sevens on both, should you wish to do so.